And welcome to today's training on everything you need to know to be able to build business credit and avoid the issues of why most people fail building business credit. We're getting started a little bit late today. We've had some technical difficulties, but look, here's the deal. A lot of people try to build business credit to fail. And we found that there's 8 common reasons that business owners fail to be able to build business credit. And today we are going to decode those 8 reasons. We're going to talk about what causes people to fail building business credit, and we're going to unveil the success path for you. We're going to take what would usually take years of business credit building, and we are going to condense it to only months by figuring out what causes the issues and how to fix them. So today we're going to cover why your business credit building efforts didn't work if you've tried, or if you haven't tried, what you're going to run into that causes most people to fail. We're talking about how to fix those issues even better, to avoid those issues before they even occur. We're going to talk about where your business can go from here, what it can do to from inception of a business to build business credit successfully. And we're also going to be covering everything you need to know, soup to nuts, to be able to avoid the pitfalls that most people fall into to be able to succeed building business credit. So are you in the right place? Well, if you've tried to build business credit before and failed, you're in the right place. If it didn't work for you when you did try, if you ran into pitfalls, if you're listening to other people's advice and it hasn't worked, you're in the right place. Okay. If it just became a huge source of frustration, maybe you even gave up trying to build business credit because you weren't successful, because you had these issues. Well, we're going to be talking about that today as well. And if you're feeling, well, why even bother? I don't want to deal with the headaches, frustration, I give up. You're in the right place. We're going to decode all of these and help you succeed. Thank you all for tuning in. Hello, Georgia is in the house. If you don't mind, give me a shout out. Tell me where you're coming in from. I always like saying hello. So you're also in the right place if you're asking, why am I not getting approved for business credit cards? Why am I being asked for a personal guarantee? Why am I being told there's no way I can get approved without a personal guarantee? Well, all those things we're going to be covering today. So if you're staying to the end of this training, then you're going to get a playback of this event, a fundability assessment where we figure out part of what we'll talk about today, what's wrong with your fundability, what to improve to be able to get approved for credit and financing. 30 days of free Experian business credit monitoring, 30 days of Equifax business credit monitoring, 30 days of Dun & Bradstreet credit monitoring, worth about $250 in itself, and a no-cost consultation or finance assessment to figure out what's wrong or what you can get approved for funding-wise, and tips and tactics to improve your business credit as well. We've got a lot to cover, so let's dive in. Okay, so today, let's talk a little bit about who I am. If you don't know, I'm going to be quick on this. Okay, I oversee the largest business credit coaching operation in the country. We have thousands of loan brokers and coaches around the country. We help offer business credit. I'm also the author of 2 of the best-selling books, Perfect Credit and Business Credit Decoded on Consumer and Commercial Credit. Over 20 years of experience in the finance industry, and I speak about this stuff worldwide. I mean, literally, without a doubt. I've been on Forbes, Inc., Entrepreneur, podcast, radio, TV, all those type of things. And even I just had, I think, another article on Entrepreneur that I actually just had released today. So as a matter of fact, I speak about this all the time. I'm seen really as an authority in this space. I don't only tell you this just so you know that I have the authority to talk about what we're talking about today. So a little bit about Credit Suite. We've been in the Inc. 5000 the last few years. We've helped nearly 50,000 people through the process I'm going to walk you through. And that's the important point here, is that there's a lot of overnight gurus in this credit space. But look, this isn't something that worked for me and now I'm teaching you. It's worked for 48,000 business owners we've helped. And we take the communal knowledge of all of them that we've helped. And that's what brings me here today, is to help you understand what it takes to succeed from everybody's success and failure, and especially the pitfalls to avoid. Most entrepreneurial company in 2008 by Entrepreneur Magazine, hundreds of reviews online, A+ rated on Facebook as well. So again, a lot of authority as an individual and as a company that to be able to bring the education and information we're bringing you today. So business credit not working for you. Well, maybe you've known about business credit for a while. Maybe you've watched videos. Maybe you've read books. And again, maybe you've seen these pop-up credit coaches that talk a good game. But the question is, do they actually deliver? Well, that's the problem I think a lot of business owners have, is that they're listening to people that have experience with their own personal situation. And it doesn't always apply to somebody else's situation. So they go, hey, I did these things to build business credit. And then somebody else comes and goes, well, I tried those things and they didn't work. So this is a lot of the problem in the business credit building space is one person will have success and share it. And then that same process doesn't work for everybody because everybody's individual situation is unique. Now, you've heard about business credit, and more than likely, it's built not attached to your social security number. You maybe even thought, hey, I can do that. So maybe you even tried to do this, but the reality set in and you're just spinning your wheels. You waste a lot of time. You're applying for credit cards, you're getting denied. You go get a Visa card, a MasterCard, a bank loan, you're being asked for personal guarantees. You're spending time and money trying to succeed in a lot of cases with no avail. You still are asked for a personal credit check, a personal guarantee. A lot of the credit you're getting potentially is still reporting on your consumer credit reports if you can get credit and if that credit reports at all. Well, again, it became kind of, something that's a loss later. I mean, you don't want to take the time to continue down this road because it is costing you so much time. And this is why we see a lot of people fail. So if you can relate to this, well, this is exactly why we see so many people fail, is because the issue is that they're trying to succeed and they're running into all these things that we're talking about today. Okay. So again, you've got to be able to have the right path forward or you're not going to be able to succeed. So why isn't business credit working for you? Well, there's a lot of reasons it may not work for you. We're going to decode all of these today, as a matter of fact, and break down what causes people to fail and what you can do to actually succeed, what you can do to fix them, what you can do to avoid the problems altogether. So let's talk about reason number one that business owners fail building business credit. Well, they skip step one. When I teach business credit building, the very first step is always you've got to build a fundable foundation for the business. Now, there's over 125 factors that tie into what we call fundability. And fundability basically is what lenders and credit issuers look at to determine if you could be approved for credit and financing, or what exactly lenders and credit issuers are looking for so you can get approved. Okay. But if you don't do these things, then this is exactly the reason that you get denied. So you've got to set up your business where it's credible in a lender and credit issuer's eyes. And this is called building a fundable foundation. You got to make sure that you have all the details set up the way that lenders and credit issuers want to see it. This is an overview of these 125 factors that we talk about. And this is really the essential stuff right here, the foundation. Making sure that you know the industry that you're in, you know your NAICS code. Your business name doesn't reflect you're in a high-risk industry. You have a business address. You're staying away from home addresses or PO boxes, UPS addresses. You have a business phone number. It's listed with 411. The longer time in business you have, the more credible factors that you need to offset your lower time in business. You have a business bank account set up. You have an entity set up. You have an EIN set up, website, email, business license. So this is an overview of some of the foundational principles that lenders and credit issuers look at to determine if you should be lent money, if you should be issued credit or not. And if you get these things wrong, some sources approve you, some will deny you. And this is where I see people constantly get stuck when building business credit, is they come in, they ignore some of this, they still get approved for one or two accounts, and they say, well, I guess that foundation stuff doesn't even matter. I'm getting approvals. Then they move forward to continue to apply elsewhere, and they start getting denied. And they never link back to the foundation being the problem because those approvals kind of gave them false positives. They're like, well, I got approved, so it can't be like a foundational fundability issue because these guys approved me. But that's the way that fundable foundations work, is that a lot of credit issuers have some requirements while other credit issuers have other requirements. And even though some credit issuers might approve you for credit, then others end up denying you because you don't meet the requirements they have, even though the others didn't have those requirements. And so this is very common. So for coming through and understanding fundability and making sure that you just build the fundable foundation the right way from the beginning is really the key to coming in and getting approved for max credit and financing. It's really the key to being able to get approved for all sources, not just get some approvals, but not get approvals with other places. So you've got to make sure that you're coming in and building this credible foundation. You've got to know what your NAICS code is, for example. You have to avoid high-risk NAICS codes. If you don't know what an NAICS code is, it's basically just an industry code. I can go to NAICS.com right here, and I can actually go to find my NAICS code. And I can also come in and just say high-risk NAICS codes. And again, The nice thing about this is this will actually give me a list of high-risk NAICS codes to be able to avoid, to make sure that I'm not choosing an industry or a code that indicates that I'm in a high-risk industry. A lot of lenders or credit issuers have two different buckets here, a restricted bucket and like a no-go bucket, which means the restricted, you face greater underwriter scrutiny, harder to get approved. The no-go bucket, nobody gets approved. If you're in that industry that the lender just doesn't want to work with, they just don't want to work with you. So you've got to stay away from these high-risk industries. It's one of the biggest reasons that business owners get denied when it comes to industry is they've chosen the wrong one. And I can show you a lot of credit reports, a lot of credit scores where the credit bureaus even score somebody lower just because they don't like the industry that somebody is in. So you've got to avoid this at all costs. You've also got to have a real business location. Now, if you can't afford or don't need a real retail location or commercial building, then you can get a virtual office. Regis, DaVinci, Alliance offer them. Stay away from iPostal. Stay away from PO boxes or UPS addresses. Look, I use iPostal addresses all the time for entities, but I never use them for an entity that I'm going to try to get money for. And that's what it comes down to is I can set up an entity for a different purpose really quick. I have entities for all different kind of purposes. Every vehicle I own is owned in a separate entity. Every property I own is owned in a separate entity. Every asset I own that's worth really any considerable amount of money is owned in a separate entity. I'm not going to go through and get virtual offices for every one of these entities. I don't care about building credit for them. But when I'm dealing with a business, that's my primary business that I legitimately care about getting capital for, this is when you've got to do these things. This is where you've got to use an actual virtual office and stay away from UPS address, stay away from PO boxes, stay away from iPostal type of addresses as well. Okay. You've also got to make sure you have a phone number. You got to make sure that that phone number is toll free. You got to make sure the phone number is listed with 411. Look, I can pull up a lot of actual credit issuers requirements. And what you're going to find is that in a lot of cases, they have those requirements where 411 is one of the basic checks that a lot of them have, even starter vendors. And the reason they do this is because 411 is basically a place you can go, and I'm going to pull it up and show it's why I'm looking away from the screen. I'm going to show this to you right now. But 411 is where a lot of places, a lot of business owners naturally, organically get picked up by Google, where in 411, just because they've been around long enough. So if you start a business today, you're not going to be listed in 411. You can't go to 411.com and list your own business, because the problem with that is that 411.com isn't even 411. There's no way to directly go to 411 and list yourself unless you use a company called listyourself.net. It's the only company out there that even helps you list yourself. So if we look at Philip 76 here, who's a starter vendor, you can see one of the requirements right here is to get listed with 411. A lot of these starter vendors have exactly this kind of requirement. They require that you be listed with 411. Let's go to WEX Fleet. Let's look at a WEX Fleet card. So if we look at WEX Fleet card, it's the same thing. Your phone number's got to be listed with 411. This is just one of the basic requirements that a lot of lenders and credit issuers have. And it's one of those also that a lot of business owners just don't think about. They never take the steps to actually get listed with 411. Okay, we've also got to make sure you have a business bank account set up. You've got to have a business license set up if you can get one for your industry. It goes a long way. Credit issuers like Granger will give you a starter account for your vendor or for your business for $2,500. A credit line of $2,500 just because you actually have a license for your business. So even if you're not required to get one because your industry requires it, get one of these. It goes a long way to being able to help you build your credibility. And a lot of credit issuers are going to see you as instantly credible just because you have a business license set up. I can go on and on. We don't even have the time today to cover everything about foundation. We didn't cover website. We didn't cover email address. So many other aspects. So we've got training at youtube.com/credit suite, which will decode more of this. But the number one reason that you get denied is because you just don't have this established. The second most common reason we see people get denied business credit is because there's information's inconsistent. And this happens all the time. I'd say about 90% of business owners we come in to help have the same problem. And the problem they're actually dealing with is that they're actually not coming in and they're not consistent with their details. So their application looks like fraud by itself. Okay, so what I mean by that is that they're coming in and they've got information that doesn't match everywhere. The information on their application doesn't match what's on the loan applications, Doesn't match a credit card application, doesn't match Secretary of State records, IRS records. And because of these inconsistencies, lenders don't even know that the person applying is a real legitimate business. And this is something very common that happens here. Okay, so first thing, you got to make sure that all of your information is consistent. And one of the ways to do that is to set up your business the right way from the beginning. When I set up a business, here's the order that I follow. First, I make sure that the EIN, the domain that I want is actually available. So if I'm going to set up ABC Water Company, then I'm going to go check GoDaddy. ABC Water Company, is that domain available? Yeah, it's available. I'm going to buy it. Now I'm going to go make sure in the Secretary of State, it's actually available in the Secretary of State. More than likely it is. If the website ABC Water Company is available, then more than likely ABC Water Company in my state as a name is available as well. So again, what we're going to do is we're going to get the domain, lock it down, $7, $10, $12. It's worth it. Then we're going to make sure that it's available in the Secretary of State. It is. Next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to get the phone number and I'm going to get the address set up before I even go set up the Secretary of State records. Okay. Now, the reason I do that is now I have my domain, abcwatercompany.com. I know my email is going to be info@abcwatercompany.com. I go get my phone number from Ring Central, from Freedom Voice. I go get my address physically set up or go get a virtual office from Regis, DaVinci, or Alliance. Now I go set up my Secretary of State records. And when I set up my Secretary of State, they're going to say, hey, what is your business address? What is your business phone number? What is your website? What is your email? I already have all that info now. I never need to go back and change it. Then I set it up. Then I go get my EIN from the IRS. Okay, then again, I have all the same info. It's all consistent from the beginning. Then I go get my bank account set up. Now, when I get set up in the banking system where all banks share information, now when I'm set up with the IRS, when I'm set up with my Secretary of State, all my information is congruent. So because of that, now it really goes a long way to help me because now I'm able to come in here and I'm able to make sure that all the information is consistent. It's all congruent right from the beginning. If you haven't done it this way, then you got to go back and you got to make sure that all your information is congruent. So what this means is it means you've got to make sure that your IRS, the Secretary of State, your bank account records, everywhere your business address and phone number is listed. So an entity I was just messing with, it's a newer entity I set up. I changed the email address. It's very common to then not think to go back to your Facebook pages and update that email address. Most people don't think about that. But you got to make sure your social media records, your website, all the listings, the yellow pages, all those things, that information is consistent. If you don't do that, the problem is you get denied because lenders and credit issuers think it's fraud. Here's a perfect example of the samples, and I'll give you a quote and I'll tell you their story because this is very, very consistent with what we see a lot of business owners face and probably is one of the reasons you're running into issues if you're running into problems building business credit as well. Quote, we went to our bank to get a business line of credit and they turned us down. We got started with Credit Suite, set up our business credibly, and built our business credit. After following the steps, we now secured over 96,000 of business credit cards and just applied for a platinum Amex and got approved instantly with no limit. Now we have 4 to 5 different companies call us every day trying to give us more money, and that's a really good problem to have. We're excited that if you don't have business credit yet, you should get involved with Credit Suite to have the same results we have. Here's the reason I show you this. They got denied because their application data didn't match their Secretary of State data. It's as simple as that. Once we updated Secretary of State, only that changed, nothing else. They turned around and got a no limit Amex, and the loan they got denied for, the line of credit their bank, they got approved for because we changed one thing. Their Secretary of State records didn't match up. So you've got to come in. You've got to make sure that all this information is congruent. Even one thing like you see here is the difference between success and failure. By the way, I know a lot of people, I have a webinar running right now, consistently running live on a bunch of different channels. So make sure that if you have questions, I'm going to stay to the end and make sure your questions are answered. But I have so much content to cover today that I'm going to go well past an hour. So I want to make sure I get to everybody. So if you don't mind, you can type in your questions. Just keep in mind that I probably am not going to get to a lot of them until we get close to wrapping up today. Hello from Columbia, South Carolina, and Princeton, New Jersey's in the house too. A lot of people just give me a shout out. Appreciate that. So the third reason we see a lot of people get denied business credit, you didn't stop at irs.gov. You've got to set up a proper entity. If you don't get an entity set up with your Secretary of State, then set up an EIN number from the IRS, then the problem is that you're just not going to succeed. You're not going to be successful. So you've got to make sure that you have an EIN number. Otherwise, you're looked at as having a hobby. And believe it or not, you can't. because you can get yourself set up as a sole proprietor. And then as a sole proprietor, you can get away without having an EIN. Business credit is linked to an EIN. A lot of people think that business credit is linked to a DUNS number, and that's not the case. It's actually linked to an EIN. Okay, so that being said, you've got to make sure that you come in and you get your EIN set up with irs.gov. If you don't do that, then the problem is that you're not seen as a real business at all. You're seen more as a hobby. And matter of fact, SBA says the same thing. If you are a sole proprietor, well, then you're experimenting with an idea. You're not even a real business. So if you want to be seen as a real business, you got to get your EIN number from irs.gov. You can't even build business credit if you don't do this. And again, entity matters a lot, from taxes, liability, a lot of reasons you're going to want to choose a certain entity. I'm not an accountant, not an attorney, not legal or accounting advice, but I will tell you that a corporation from a lender and credit issuer's perspective gives you the most credibility, and an LLC gives you the second most. So consider a corporation, consider an LLC. Those are going to go a long way to giving you a lot of credibility. If you're going to be a sole proprietor, at least do a DBA. But again, you're not going to get real far trying to get money as a sole proprietor. You should really consider abandoning that entity altogether. If you are a sole prop now, you should consider switching immediately. If you're not, you never set up your business, don't even go and set yourself up as a sole prop. Reason 4, your business doesn't have an ID recognized by the credit bureaus. It's called a DUNS number. DUNS number is a 9-digit number that's issued by Dun & Bradstreet, and this number is what identifies you as a legitimate business worldwide. It's like your EIN used by the IRS, but this one's used worldwide. Okay, so it's very important that you have a DUNS number, and I'll give you an example. I went to apply for a Staples credit card, corporate credit card, got denied. This was many years back for a different entity. I said, that doesn't make any sense. I have tons of trade lines on my business credit reports, good business credit with D&B, Equifax, Experian. I called Staples and said, what's going on? And they said, well, you don't have any credit. We're not going to approve you for a corporate credit card with no credit. I said, we have tons of credit. And they said, well, we don't even pull up a credit profile for you. I said, I don't know how that's possible. All the information you have is the same as what the bureaus have. Have you looked at my DUNS number? They said, no. Do you have a DUNS number? Give me that. It's not even on their application, so it wasn't supplied. I gave them the DUNS number. They put me on hold, and less than 3 minutes later, they came back and approved me for that corporate card. Ever since that happened, I now do, and I recommend to all of our clients that you have the DUNS number and include it on an application for credit, even if they don't ask for it, because this goes a long way to giving you credibility. So you want to make sure that you get your DUNS number. It's essential to get a Paydex score. Paydex score is the most popular credit score in the business credit world. And you can't have a Paydex score if you don't have a DUNS number established. So you've got to have a DUNS number established. And in order to do this, it's 100% free. You just go type in even free DUNS number, or you can just go to creditsuite.com/DUNS. You don't even need the dashes, just DUNS. It's going to give you a short link right to Dun & Bradstreet's website. And there on Dun & Bradstreet's website, you're then able to come in and be able to set up your DUNS number for free. Then use that number when you're applying for credit and financing. Once you have the DUNS number and 3 accounts reporting to D&B, that is when it will open up the door for you to then be able to have a Paydex score. If you don't have a DUNS number and 3 accounts reporting to D&B, you're just not going to actually have a Paydex score. D&B will never issue you a Paydex score. Get this question a lot. Why is D&B ignoring me? Why are they not reporting accounts? They are. You just don't have 3 reporting and a DUNS number, one or the other, and that's why they haven't populated a credit report for you. And here's an example of Kylan Trower, and I'll give you a quote from him, tell you a little bit of his story and how it ties into this. Quote, I believe the Business Finance Suite is the best step-by-step pay-by-number system to securing anywhere from $50,000 to $250,000 in business credit that reports on your business credit report and helps you separate your personal and business credit. What I like most is you have access to actual coaches that will take you by the hand, walk you through the system, answer specific questions you have related to your business. Just an amazing opportunity for small business owners. The reason I tell you this from Kylan is this is one of the problems Kylan had as well. You know, in the beginning, when we started building business credit, the issue we ran into is he's like, hey, nothing's reporting on my Dun & Bradstreet. I'm not given a Paydex score. And the problem was he skipped the step of getting a DUNS number. Even though he had accounts reporting to D&B, the minute he got his Paydex score and it was issued to him, that credit profile became populated the same as it will for you. Reason number 5, you try to apply for credit with vendors that don't report. It's a very common problem. So it's estimated that over 90% of trade vendors don't report the credit they give you to the business credit reporting agency. I'm going to give you a real story from last week. My ski coach, snow ski coach, right? For kids never seen snow before at 11 and 13, 2 years ago, took him to Utah for the first time. And we have a coach. His name is Wes. He's like our ski instructor, teaches my kids to ski, right? So Wes calls me up and he says, hey, man, I got a problem. I got a huge problem. I need your help. And he goes, I know you're the only guy that can help me fix this. I went to get auto financing. I tried to get a loan. And the crazy thing is I have all these credit lines and stuff for my business, but I went to get a car in my business name and my bank turned me down because of what's on my business credit report. What do I do? And I said, here's what you got to do, Wes. Go to creditsuite.com/monitoring, get credit monitoring. Let's see which bureau has the problem. He goes, okay, it's Experian that I have the problem with. Now I know the issue. There's this negative. Here's the story. A merchant, like terminal, default, He told me the whole story. And he said, but I have credit with all these other sources. Like, why is none of that here? And then we have the conversation about 90% of these guys that you're saying you have credit with don't report to the reporting agencies, 90% in general. So what's happened is you got credit with all these sources. None of them reported. Only one did report positive. Then one reported negative. And so now you've got this issue on your business credit reports. Your credit scores are trash. He goes, like, my score is like single digits. I said, yeah, because that's why. I mean, half of your credit is bad. It's collection. It's late pays. That's why. And he said, well, look, I got to fix this to bring up my business credit score. I said, correction. What you need to do is build business credit. The reason you're having this problem isn't because of the negative. It's because you don't have positive. If you get credit with vendors that report and build positive 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 trade lines, so you would never have this problem. If you had one negative on there and 8 positive, your scores would be fantastic. You'd still have gotten approved. The reason you didn't is your business has been open a long time, and now you only have 2 accounts. One's negative, one's positive. So the reason I tell you this is that I get these calls all the time. As Credit Suite, we get these calls. My friends have these problems all the time. One of my friends, John, same thing. Ty, don't know what to do. Lender just said that I need to pay them back everything that's outstanding on my credit line. They're shutting it down. My business credit's bad. Looked at his business credit. Wasn't bad. He just didn't have any. He said, how can this be? I'm a media buyer. I buy media from all these different media sources, millions of dollars a month. I said, yep, but none of them report the credit that you're getting to the reporting agencies. So nobody knows that you're getting this credit. And so those are 2 examples of people that are very well-established businesses that are well into the 7 figures, millions of dollars, multi-million-dollar businesses that can't get an auto loan or getting credit lines pulled back, all because they don't have enough business credit established because they thought they had accounts on their business credit reports and they didn't. So you've got to make sure you're getting credit with vendors that do report. Over 90% don't. This means you've got to be able to get trade credit that actually does. Now, when you're working with Credit Suite, it's easy, right? Because we tell you everybody, who they report to, what they report. We give you all that information. But if you're not, then you've got to make sure that you're focusing on building your business credit. Because if you're not, then you think you have credit with all these sources that you don't have credit with. It's also one of the most common reasons I tell people that you've got to make sure that you actually come in. And you can see here, we say, hey, look, here, this reports to every source that it reports to, D&B, Equifax, Experian, D&B, Experian, D&B, Experian. You got to know that you're getting credit with sources that it reports to. If you don't, then you're getting credit with sources where it doesn't report. And here, I'll give you, excuse me, get a little bit of a chest cold. Let me show you exactly what this looks like. So if I go here to non-reported accounts, then you're going to see that a lot of accounts don't report. Look at all these. There's all kinds of banks, companies that are vendors, in United Airlines here, for example. All these sources, Chase, Access Hardware. I can go on and on and on. Amazon, in this case, this one Amazon account. Amazon has accounts that reports as well. A lot of these other sorts, O'Reilly. So a lot of these sorts don't report to the business credit reporting agencies. And so you might be getting credit with John Deere or Navy Federal Credit Union. You think because it's John Deere, it's a big company. Or Navy Federal Credit Union, a big company, that you're building business credit, but none of them are reporting. So if they're not reporting, you're not getting credit for what you actually have built. You're not getting this trade credit. It's not showing as trade lines on your actual credit report. So you've got to start with starter vendors, Granger, Uline, these kind of sources. You got to start with sources who are reporting to the business credit reporting agencies. And Lori says, why don't more vendors report? Here's why. Because the credit bureaus have requirements that you've got to meet in order to report. I'm going to give you one example from one reporting agency. If you're not a bank, Dun & Bradstreet wants you to have over 2,500 accounts every month that are reported to them before they'll let you report. So do you have 2,500 customers right now that are paying you monthly that you can report their payments to D&B? Most don't. Most small businesses don't have 2,500 customers. So the credit bureaus have these restrictions that prevent companies from reporting because you have to have all this data. Your data has to be in a certain format. Your data has to get uploaded to them automatically every single month. You have to have hundreds or thousands of people paying you every month before they'll even let you report to them. Because of all these hurdles, it's very hard to get set up with reporting with the reporting agencies. And this is why over 90% of trade vendors never end up doing it. Okay, so again, you've got to get vendors that report to D&B Equifax Experian. If you don't, then you're never going to build business credit. It's one of the reasons that so many business owners fail. Now, you got to keep in mind, a lot of these accounts are non-reporting, and this is why we call them advanced vendors. All these sources we just looked at here, all these are advanced vendors: Wells Fargo, Amex, Best Buy. And what I mean by advanced vendors is that they will help you get the money that you need to grow your business. Like having a $10,000 credit line at Best Buy will help me. I've got computers, I've got lights here, I've got phone here, I got all this stuff, I got cameras, all the stuff I can buy at Best Buy. Having a credit line will help me grow my business, but it doesn't help me build business credit if it's a non-reporting trade account. And a lot of these accounts don't report, and that's why you fail. It's because you think you have credit when you don't have credit. And then you're trying to build more business credit to only realize that you never had anything reported. So another reason that we see business owners fail is that you've got errors on your credit reports that are holding you back. There are things that are inaccurate. Okay, and I just gave you an example of my ski instructor, Wes, right? Teaches my kids to ski. He's trying to go out and expand his business. He owns a manufacturing business worth, I think, $2-3 million. And he gets denied because he's got something on his credit report that's not accurate. It's not even true. Okay, and then as a result, that gets him denied. I've had things on my LexisNexis credit report, judgments which weren't even mine, that prevented me from getting an SBA loan until that's cleared up. I can give you hundreds of examples of business owners that come to us that get denied for credit cards, loans, and credit lines because what's on their business credit report is not even real. It's not even accurate. It's not even true. Maybe it's on D&B Equifax Experian. Maybe it's on LexisNexis, but this inaccurate information is one of the things that lowers your scores and oftentimes gets you denied until it's actually fixed. And this is why you've got to monitor your business credit. You've got to see what's on those business credit reports. And, Wes, for example, when I helped him get set up with credit monitoring, he said, hey, it looks like this is a recurring thing. I said, Wes, look, you can cancel it after 30 days if you don't want to spend the $24. But it's not spending $24 worth getting denied for this auto loan. Think about it. You just got denied because you're not even keeping an eye on your credit reports. You could keep an eye on them for $24. So you want to make sure that you're keeping an eye on your business credit reports, because if you're not doing this, you'll never see inaccurate information show up. You'll never see what's getting reported and what's not getting reported. So you've got to make sure that you're doing this. If you don't, you're just going to continue to get denied. And that's exactly what happened here with Herman. And let me kind of give you his quote, and then I'll give you a little bit more insight into what happened to him. Quote, with Credit Suite, your one-on-one consultant calls you within 24 hours of signing up. They call you at least 5 times a week in the first 2 weeks. Then after that, now, even though it's been 7 years, I still talk to them. My one-on-one consultant still calls me every other Wednesday without fail. That's absolutely incredible. My favorite line of credit I got using Credit Suite's a $10,000 Amazon card I use to purchase things low and sell high in different marketplaces. I was also able to get a $40,000 Amex card. None of my accounts show up in my personal credit reports. So if I max them out, it doesn't hurt my personally. So I was able to purchase 2 properties in Cleveland, Ohio. It's been a real blessing. So Herman, very similar to what a lot of business owners deal with. Tried to build business credit, realized a lot of the accounts he had didn't report on the reporting agencies. Once we actually got him credit that did report, then he's able to get the Amazon credit card, the $40,000 Amex, and then he's able to use this to fund multiple different businesses, grow business credit for multiple businesses at the same time, and then be able to get the financing he needs to be able to grow those businesses. But he wasn't able to. He failed because he thought he had a bunch of accounts reporting that didn't actually report. And this is why you've got to monitor your business credit reports. If you don't do this, then you don't see these accounts ever showing up. And if you go to creditsuite.com/monitoring, it's only $24. You can call D&B, you can go to D&B online, you can go to Equifax online, you can go to Experian online. But the problem with all of these scenarios is that you're going to pay about $250. If you go to the credit bureaus for your reports direct, it's about $250. If you go to creditsuite.com, it's only monitoring, it's only $24. We actually have the lowest credit monitoring that exists for a reason, because we want to make sure it's practical financially for you to have it, because it's so important, because we see so many people fail building business credit because of this issue. Number 7, you started with vendors, then you stopped, right? A lot of people get business credit and they get credit with a vendor just to be able to get enough trade lines reporting or accounts on their business credit reports to move to the next tier of building business credit. And the problem with that is that if you're doing that and you're not using that credit every 12 months, then you won't be given credit for actually using the credit. So what happens is the account shows on your business credit report and the recent amount of credit you've used just is blank. And that tells credit lenders, credit issuers and lenders that you're not using the credit that's being reported there. And it stops calculating into the score. As a result of this, then you really want to get credit you're actually going to use with retailers, Amazon, Walmart, Fleet Credit, BP, Chevron, Sunoco, Office Depot, Staples, whatever kind of credit you're really going to use. And then you want to make sure you're using this credit regularly. So, every 6 months at least, you want to try to use the credit so you're getting credit for it on your business credit report. So there's a lot of this credit you're able to get. Here's Amazon, Pilot Flying J, Exxon Mobil here, as well as there's a Sunbelt Rental. Here's a $1,000 Exxon account right here. So a lot of this credit you're able to get that you're actually going to use to grow your business. And then you're able to regularly use the credit to be able to grow the business. It's very important. Okay, so you got to get credit you're really going to use. And this is one of the mistakes I see business owners make, is that they kind of get business credit to move to the next step. They hear me say, hey, get starter vendors like Uline and Granger. You need 5. They get 5. They buy. How little can I spend to get the account reported? All the wrong questions. They're getting the bare minimum of starter vendors. They're spending them the bare minimum with each starter vendor they can. Then they get to the next step and they say, hey, why aren't I getting $10,000 limit accounts? Because you've only spent $50. Like, if you're only spending $50 at a credit issuer, why would somebody else give you 10 grand? So you got to get credit you're actually going to use. And here in a little bit, I'll show you Christine. I'll show you what this looks like from somebody that has over $1 million in business credit. How does she get over $1 million in business credit? She's getting credit with sources she's really using. Then she's putting $1,000, $2,000, $5,000, $10,000 on that credit card, paying it off and using it to grow the business. When you do this, your limits will get higher. Credit issuers and lenders see that you're being issued credit and using the credit, and they'll be inclined to want to give you more credit. But if you're doing the bare minimum, getting credit you're not even using, then the problem is that lenders and credit issuers see that and they don't want to issue you more credit, because after all, you're not even using the credit that they're giving you. Reason number 8, you didn't get past retail and fleet credit. Okay, so again, this is the problem that my ski instructor Wes had, right? He can't get auto financing. And he said, well, why can't he get auto financing in my business name? I said, look, here's the reality. You can fix the one account that's negative on your business credit reports, but you're not going to get auto financing typically until you have 14 accounts on your business credit reports. You got 2. You remove the negative, you got 1. So you got to build business credit to ever get to that level. He's never even going to get past retail and fleet credit to auto financing, Visa, and MasterCard, because again, the problem is he hasn't continued to build his business credit. And that's a problem that I see a lot of business owners have. Okay, so again, having access to Visa card, MasterCard, auto financing your business name, all these kind of credit lines with retailers helps you navigate inflation. It helps you navigate recessions. And this is something you really need to be thinking about, because it's happening. I mean, I've been saying this for months. Like, we just had an inversion curve, I think, last month, one of the clear indicators of an impending recession. It's happening this year, next. So how financially are you prepared? Well, if you get retail credit, you get fleet credit, you get Visa card, MasterCard credit, this helps you get the revolving credit you need to better manage inflation when supplies and the cost of goods go up, and to be able to be better prepared for a recession as well. So you want to make sure that you get Visa cards, MasterCards. You want to have 14 accounts on your business credit reports to be able to get to this step. It's very important. Okay. And again, an example is a Fuel Man Fleet Core MasterCard. The reports of DB, Equifax, Experian, all based on you having an 80 paydex or higher, meaning you got accounts that report to DB, you're paying as agreed, and that you actually have that Fundable Foundation set up. And don't forget, you've got those non-reporting accounts. We talked about a lot of those and how they might not actually help you with building business credit, but they still can give you credit that you need, whether it be Navy Federal Credit Union, John Deere, Best Buy. Those are credit lines you could use to grow your business, whether they report or they don't. And by the way, Apple is in that category. Apple doesn't report the credit to the Business Credit Reporting Agency, but they'll give you a credit card based on your business credit quality, which means they'll pull your business credit report and say, yeah, we're going to give this company a $20,000 credit card, but they won't report the credit they give you to the reporting agencies. Still useful though, because they actually give you the credit that you need to grow your business. Now, another solution here is you can use credit line hybrid, and it's a way to jumpstart business credit building. So credit line hybrid, you've got to have good credit to get it. But if you have good credit or a guarantor that does, you can get 0% credit lines, no doc, no income documents reported or needed to be able to get it approved. And they're Visa MasterCard type credit lines. You can get up to 150 grand. They report to the business credit reporting agencies. You can get it even as a startup business. You could take the cash out at 0%. Okay, a lot of use here. And this is one of my friends, Somnop. I talk about Som quite a bit. And I'll tell you why as soon as I read this, because he's really a good example of when you avoid these mistakes, what can happen. So Somnop, quote, my business is Dragon Gym martial arts studio that was founded in 1973 by my instructor, Diego, and took over by my partner and I 10 years ago. About a year and a half ago, my business partner and I decided within 18 months, we were going to open our second location. We got connected with Credit Suite. We were able to accelerate our timeline and open this location in 6 months instead of 18. Getting the financing meant that we could start fulfilling our dream to have 10 or more locations across the country. So here's Som's example. He wants to open another location. He, like you and I, have the same problem that he's got so much cash flow, money in the bank, and extra money every month that he can spend on whatever he wants. And if he looks at that extra cash flow he has, then he knows that it's going to take him 18 months, a year and a half to save enough if nothing goes wrong to open the second location. I say, Som, why would you do that? Just get a credit line. How fast does your business pay for itself? He said, if I open another location within 6 months, the students in that location cover all the cost in the business location's profitable. I'm like, well, that's ridiculous. Why? Use credit lines. Get credit line hybrid, get the credit lines, fund your second location. Then the students start paying you. Then you have enough to pay back the credit lines and you're profitable within 6 months. He did just that. In 18 months, he had 3 locations open, not 2, 3. Now he's looking at opening 5 more locations. They should have 6 to 8 locations open potentially by the end of the year. They're building a massive franchise. When COVID hit, he used the same credit line, hybrid credit lines to be able to create an online curriculum and then start attracting a whole online presence for his gym as well. And started actually buying all this really cool gear. I've got shirts and hoodies and all kinds of stuff from these guys that I wear all the time because they've got a great brand. So all of a sudden now he's got a whole brand, all this gear out there, right? And then on top of that, he's also got an online, a whole online training for martial arts that, again, he got all because he used these credit lines to do it. So these credit line hybrids can be very powerful for getting you the money you need to actually grow the business. So why do you want to build business credit? Well, there's a lot of reasons. First of all, and excuse me, like I said, I have a little bit of chest cold. Inherited from a very close friend of mine. I have to be really around somebody that's really sick to ever get sick. I rarely get sick, like once every 10 years. Okay, so why is business credit awesome? Well, first of all, by having consumer credit and commercial credit, it more than doubles your borrowing ability. Per SBA, commercial credit card limits are 10 to 100 times higher than what you'll find with SBA. So very high limits, very fast when you build business credit. And you can also get approved for business credit when you can't get loans, when you can't get credit lines, when you can't get money from your bank. And the fact that you build business credit makes it easier to get the loans, the credit lines, all that financing from your bank as well, and gives you a huge competitive advantage. Plus, if you have a business in the U.S., you can build your business credit. So as long as you have a business in the United States, you can build business credit. You don't have to have cash flow, credit collateral, all the stuff that will get you denied for loans. You can still be able to get business credit even if you don't qualify for a lot of those loans. Okay, you can even get it as a nonprofit. You can even get it as a startup. Okay, as long as you have a U.S. business, you can build business credit. You don't have to buy shelf corporations or bogus trade lines to be able to do it. Plus, it's going to help you get credit financing. Lenders and credit issuers use business credit to determine if you should be approved for credit financing, how much you should get, and the terms you should actually pay. Okay, so again, they actually use business credit as a primary driver of whether you get approved, how much you get, the rates and terms you pay. So if you want to get the most money, the best terms, you got to build business credit. And the problem is, even if you don't have business credit established, if the credit issuers know you exist, they're going to give you failing credit scores. Here's an example from an Experian credit report where somebody has only 1,000 recommendation of credit, a 6 financial stability score. This literally depicts the risk of going bankrupt, and they have no credit. They're being given a failing score just because they have no credit. You can see as high risk as you can get nearly just because they have no credit. Now, when they add one account, like this Uline account, to the business credit report, see how it all shoots up? Credit limit 2.5 times that. Credit scores shoot up just because of one account, high risk to low risk, low score to high score, just because they added one account on their business credit reports. And you can also see that as you continue to add more accounts on your business credit reports, here's 2 accounts, $7,000 recommendation of credit. Here's Experian saying, give this person $16,000 credit limits. They got 3 accounts on their business credit reports. Here's somebody being recommended for $66,000 in credit. They have 4 accounts on their business credit reports. Here's somebody being recommended for nearly $724,000, $724,000 in credit. And they've got well over 15 accounts on their business credit reports. So what we found is that the more accounts you add to your business credit reports, then what happens is the higher the recommendation of credit from the credit bureaus. And this is what gets you higher limits on loans, higher limits on credit cards, higher limits on credit lines, all because of this credit limit recommendation. You got to be able to build business credit to do it. When you do, then that's when these limits really increase. Now, you may be thinking this won't work for you, right? But it doesn't matter. If you have a business in the United States, you can build business credit. I call it a catch-all. Okay, it's like a net for people like at the circus, right? My kids and I were at Las Vegas, went to Vegas for spring break, and this phenomenal circus act. And then a couple of people fell, and they landed in the net. The net's there to catch them. I promise you the show would have been completely different if there was no net there and those people fell, right? But the net catches them. It makes sure that no matter what goes wrong, if there's a safety net there. Business credit's the same way. It's a catch-all. It will catch you no matter what the situation is. It's going to be there to help you get the money you need, even if you can't get loans and credit lines. Now, you might be thinking that like you can't afford to build business credit. But again, I'm even going to give you a cheaper path as we wrap up today's training that will make it more affordable than you ever thought to be able to build business credit. And you got to think, look, if you get $32,000 from what I'm telling you today, like what kind of difference can that make for you? I don't know. I mean, most of the testimonies you've seen today, we've seen case studies of people getting $40,000 credit limits, no limit credit cards. I'm going to show you Christine here in a minute. She's got over $1 million of business credit. Kylan Trower built $1 million business just based on offering business credit. So all these people have hundreds of thousands or millions of business credit. If you got just a fraction of that, you got to think about what that might be able to do for your business. Okay, so keep in mind, all the biggest companies in this country have it. Facebook, here's 40 trade lines. Dell, 83 trade lines. 138 trade lines with Apple. Microsoft with 131. Pilot Flying J, 153. Publix here in my backyard, Lakeland, Florida, 171. Walmart, 513 trade lines. So here's a question. Why does the number one retailer in the world, Walmart, need business credit? Why do they have 513 trade lines, 500 accounts of people that have given them credit when they're the number one retailer in the world? This is the best kept secret of publicly and privately owned companies. They're really good at using other people's money. They're better than you are. They're better than I am. It's how they got to be as big as they are. I'm going to give you a perfect example. Look at this. Let's do a real quick Google search. Apple. Okay. Cash on hand. Apple right now, let me see here. Apple cash on hand. Not getting anything recent here, but let's see. Here's 2021. January 27, 2021. Apple has $196 billion in cash. $196 billion. they have in liquid cash. Let me show you something. Watch. Apple debt. Apple debt. Here we go. Let's see if we can find something recent here for Apple's debt. 2021, 124 billion in debt. You ever think about that? Here we're looking at, this is a recent Google search in real time, that Apple has 196 billion in cash, well more than enough to pay off all of their debt of 125 billion. So why does Apple have 125 billion in debt when they have nearly 200 billion cash in hand? They're better at managing cash than you and I are. They're better at using debt. It's why I show you this example. It's why Walmart has 500 trades. Public has 171. Pilot Flying J has 153. Apple has, it's why they all have this. They're using other people's money to fund their business. Even when they have the cash to buy the stuff, they're still using credit to buy it. When you look at Walmart, and I give this example often, what most people don't realize is 80% of what Walmart sells, they buy with credit. They buy the stuff you see on the shelves using business credit. Then they take your money when you go to buy the stuff from them to pay off the credit. It's how they became the #1 retailer in the world. You don't have to believe me. Read Sam Walton's book. He even talks about from the beginning in the 1970s where he was getting credit with Dun & Bradstreet, how he was getting credit, and it was reporting to DNB, and how he was funding Walmart using business credit in the 70s. And now here we are 50 years later, they're still using business credit to fund the business. So this is exactly what you can do as a small business owner as well. Look, Mars Incorporated, they make Mars bars, 22 trade lines. Here's a credit repair company that just started building business credit and had 8 trade lines, and another credit company that had 14 trade lines. Here's somebody that has 70% as many accounts reporting as Mars Incorporated does. And these guys are in the credit and in the financial services space. So the reason I show you this is that every one of the largest publicly and privately owned companies does this. They use business credit to scale. Okay. And even you can do it if you understand how to overcome the mistakes that I've outlined for you today. So that being said, how do you do this successfully? I'll give you a shortcut right now. So if you're watching this, and I'll give you an example of how this turns out when you do it all correctly. I'm going to tie it all together from a business success story. One of my favorites that's very recent and somebody's become a good friend of mine. And I'm going to show you how he built business credit, overcame the obstacles, got stuck, overcame them, and then how he's built probably what you and a lot of us want to build. Okay, so here's Josh. Quote, "One thing that's beautiful about Credit Suite is that you start with baby steps. The first thing that we did is get a couple of revolving credit lines and store credit. Then we graduated to gas cards. Then we ended up getting a very nice line of credit at Amazon. Then we worked our way up to getting a very, very nice SBA loan. Thanks to Credit Suite, we were able to really get our business finances in order from what looks good to potential lenders and potential creditors. And we became very attractive to lenders. The best options are always available to those who have their credit game locked down, and that's what Credit Suite's platform allows you to do. We've been able to make smart investments in staffing, marketing systems, sales products, product development, and all these things before Credit Suite really couldn't do. I just don't have to stress as much because we got money in the bank to take advantage of opportunities. I'm not as stressed anymore. I can keep a bank account that's plenty of cushion in there, and that cushion just honestly makes me a better dad, makes me a better husband because I'm not stressing out. This means a lot to me for a lot of reasons. I've been broke in business more than I've been successful. And I've realized the importance of having money in the bank account, having a cushion in case things go wrong. When things go wrong, and they always do, then you're just not stressed when you've got revolving credit and money available. It's why knowing a recession is coming up, we're finishing up a credit line with our bank. We just got a loan with our bank. It's not that we need the money. We're actually sit on a lot of cash, but we're stocking up on cash and credit because we know a recession is coming and we prepare for the inevitable. Okay. My partner and I, we have both been to a point where we're actually coming in and where we've been through recessions. We've been through the other side of this. So we understand that you've got to stock up on cash, and that's what we do. Being prepared financially and having that money available is a night and day difference when you do versus you don't. But let's walk through Josh's story here. We started with baby steps, he calls them. The first thing we did was get a couple of credit lines, revolving credit lines, store credit. We graduated to gas cards. We walked through that today. We talked about using starter vendors, these small baby step credit lines he's talking about. Then we ended up getting a nice line of credit with Amazon, right? He got fleet credit. He got retail credit, moved his way up that chain. Then he got an SBA loan. And the SBA loan for hundreds of thousands of dollars. Then after, and he says, hey, we got what looks good, quote unquote, to potential lenders, became very attractive to lenders. He set up his Fundable Foundation, as I talked about, right? Best options are always available to those who have their credit game locked down. Okay, this is setting up his foundation the right way. He fixed the things that got him denied. Then he started getting turned down. Then what did he do with it? We applied it to marketing systems, sales systems, product development. The real story behind what Josh did was Josh is a PR guy, public relations guy, but he found a gold mine. What he found was that he could build a system in LinkedIn. Literally, like the hair standing up in my arms because I just love Josh and what he did. He went to PR, which he kind of liked. He killed it on LinkedIn and found a system to be able to generate all these leads on LinkedIn. Then he started coming in and made that his primary product and started charging people to do it and even just taking commissions and part ownership in their business. Now he's built a multiple seven-figure business very quickly because he had the money to do it. Now, I think you can do the same thing. What I found in working with 50,000 business owners is that if you had the money in your hands, you're typically going to make pretty smart decisions and do pretty cool things with it. But you got to have the money to do that. Josh never would have had the money to be able to launch a LinkedIn system, never would have been able to do product development, his sales and marketing. None of that he would have had the money for if he didn't go through what I just showed you through today. So when you do this and you start with the baby steps and you build the Fundable Foundation, you get started with starter vendors and you build your business credit up, then you end up, now you build something that's attractable to lenders. Now SBA lenders want to give you hundreds of thousands of dollars. Now you have all these ideas. You're able to use the money to fund those ideas and bam, gold mine, business is off, hockey stick growth to the races. I see this time and time again. I can't tell you how many business owners I get the blessing of being able to work with and see this happen, all because they walk through the steps that we talked about today. And this is the kind of success. Now, I don't know what kind of success you're going to have. It depends on if you fall in these pitfalls or not. But as you can see now, you can get money with bad credit. You can build business credit regardless how bad your credit may be. You don't need collateral to do it. You can build business credit as a startup. You can do it if you've been turned down. As a matter of fact, I just showed you why most people get turned down and how to overcome it. And any business can get business credit if you've got a business in the United States. And you can also do it without the personal guarantee or credit check. I just mapped out how to do it and how to overcome the pitfalls that get most people caught up. Now, if you're watching this webinar and this live on a computer, phone, or tablet, probably because you want the easiest and fastest way to be able to get business credit, the money that you need to grow. And you probably have already struggled to succeed and are just looking for like what may be a way simpler solution, a magic bullet per se. Well, I think at Credit Suite, we think that you should be able to get the money you need when you need it. But we find that most people get denied because they don't know approval standards. They don't know the Fundable Foundation part of it. They don't know how to build their business credit and do it seamlessly without these barriers that get most people turned down. They don't know how to get access to loans and credit lines because they don't know how to do all this in one place. Well, our Business Finance Suite does all three of these for you. And that's why it might be the faster, easier, and I'm even going to show you the cheaper way to do it. Because with our Business Finance Suite, you improve your fundability. You build business credit for your EIN without the personal guarantee and credit check. And you get all loans and credit lines in one place. And you do it through our technology. Showed you a little bit of it today, our Business Finance Suite, and with our advisors as well. Now, you also get all this Fundable Foundation stuff set up. We help you set up the name correctly, choose the right NAICS, set up your entity, your EIN. Set up your business address the right way, your phone number, your 411 listings, your website, your email, your licensing, all of that, your bank account, your merchant account setup. We help you with all of this fundability setup. We also help you get set up with all three reporting agencies. We get your DUNS number without charging you the $1,500 Dun & Bradstreet charges you to get your DUNS and activate your credit profile. We help you fix inaccuracies with all three reporting agencies. That's what I was talking to my buddy Wes about. Okay, this is part of our process. We help you not only get the business credit to fix your problem, but also get that negative account removed off their business credit reports. We have the largest supply of starter vendors you can use to build business credit, the largest supply of retail store credit, the largest supply of cash credit, Visa card, auto financing, fleet credit as well, all without a personal guarantee and without a personal credit check. Okay. So that being said, let me give you another, even more of what you're able to get in here. Okay. So you're also able to come in and get everything you need for funding. So you're able to get asset-based funding where you can get rates lower than 2%, 0% financing for startups, cash flow financing, even with bad credit. You're able to get private money financing, alternative SBA financing as well, venture capital loans, all of this. We even work with angel investors, everything you need on the private money side to be able to get the money you need to grow your business. It's not just business credit. Okay. And as well as that. So that being said, okay, you also can get everything you need. And to give you an overview here of everything you need to be able to build business credit and succeed. So 24/7 access to your own business finance suite. You can succeed in English and or Spanish. You can get business advisors to coach you through the process. You can get set up your name, your entity, your EIN, set up your address, your phone number, your fax number, your 411. Okay, you can also get your website, your email address, licensing, bank and merchant accounts set up as well. Dun & Bradstreet, Equifax, Experian setup, getting your DUNS number, your BIN number with Experian. You can dispute inaccuracies with all reporting agencies. Again, getting access to the largest supply of starter vendor, retail credit, fleet credit, cash credit, all the types of financing you need, everything in one place. And if you are interested in getting started, we found, quite honestly, that the people that get the best results are the ones that go, yep, I'm an action taker. I'm going to take action. And so if you are an action taker and you are interested in getting started to build your business credit, then we'll actually give you $10K worth of bonuses if you're getting started with this week by Friday. So first of all, celebritize your brand with Ray Perez, a 2-day event he's got, and his 365 site, which is like a networking site with all of your contact and essential details you need in one place. Message Maximizer to get your message matched up with your actual avatar. Delegate and Manage Like a Beast course from best-selling author Howard Shore. If you're going to build a business, you got to learn to delegate. He charges $800 for his courses. He's giving you this for free. 11 tools and a toolkit from Gino Wickman. Okay, he actually is the best-selling author of 2 books, Entrepreneurial Leap and Traction, everything you need to launch a business successfully. Accounting Secrets Blueprint from Pam Jordan to be able to get all of your accounting in line right from the beginning. 100K real estate payday. If you're interested in getting into real estate investing, this is how to make your first 100K in real estate investing. The time's about to be here because you're going to see a market adjustment in the next 18 months. Fundability in a flash. We'll spend 30 to 60 minutes with you on the actual phone with your advisor to walk you through every aspect of fundability. D&B for free. We were able to get Dun & Bradstreet, Equifax, Experian at no cost. 90% discount on credit monitoring after that. And a business builders bundle, over 30 courses, guides, blueprints, and tools for generating leads, branding, marketing, advertising, funnel building, product pricing, social media mastery, viral video marketing, and rapid business growth worth $3,000. You're able to get all of this as well. Multi-million-dollar valuation tool, okay? So this being said, multi-million-dollar valuation tool is how you can actually come in and see how much your business is worth at any given time. Okay, so over $10,000 worth of bonuses if you enroll by this Friday. This is what this looks like. Okay, so again, that's $12,000 worth of value that you're getting just by working with us, over 10 grand worth of bonuses. And you can get this done for 7 payments of only $597 or get a huge discount of $29.97. Okay, so again, huge discount if you do 1 pay or 7 payments of $597. So we'll help you get the payments to make it affordable. If you don't have the money, no big deal. We work with funding sources that can finance this for you. Okay, we will work with you on customized plans to make sure it makes sense for you as well. Okay, and we can even help you get financing. And you don't have anything to lose because when you get started, even when you make payments with us, we give you everything, our advisors, our tech, everything you need to be successful right from the beginning. We're that sure that you're going to love this opportunity. And again, 18 to 24 months is how long it will typically take you to build business credit. But again, 2 to 3 years with us, you're actually able to get this done in about 6 months. You save 18 to 24 months. And it's cheaper to work with us and do this on your own because, again, what happens is there's all kinds of things like Dun & Bradstreet you'll pay for that you don't have to pay for with us. 411 listing you don't have to pay for with us. We give you 90% discounting on credit monitoring. So a lot of things you're getting for free at a discount on top of the $10,000 worth of bonuses if you're getting started by Friday. Now, you stay to the end of this training. So if you're on the webinar and you watched in its entirety, we will send you a playback tomorrow. If you're on social media like YouTube, you will be able to access this in its entirety on the channel. And all you have to do is give us a call for your free finance assessment, free business credit reports. Here's our number, 877-600-2487, info@creditsuite.com. And again, I want to open this up for questions. If you know that this makes sense, go to creditsuite.com/webinar, and you're able to get started right away. Now, I am going to go ahead and make sure that all the questions are answered. So in order for me to do so, let me go ahead and start checking questions. If you have any questions, type them in. I want to actually make sure that all of your questions are answered. Okay, so if you have questions, go ahead and type them in, and I will make sure that's taken care of. So I'm going to keep an eye right now on your questions. And I'm going to get started. All right. So a lot of you are coming in and saying hi early on. And again, I got webinars, I've got chat, I got a lot going on. So just keep in mind, I'm going to get to these as soon as I can. Okay. So everybody's saying hello. A lot of Georgia, and a lot of people from Georgia in the house. Let me check this real quick. We got one thing I'm trying to work through. Missouri, Maryland in the house. Okay. So, hey, need medical collection under $500 off my credit report. Okay. So is it consumer? It's got to be consumer credit report. Not the guy for that, but a lot of great free training online. You can dispute with the credit bureaus directly, and you can go to the creditor issuers directly on the consumer side. You can also work with a credit repair company that can help you with that as well. Okay. So that is the best way, and not the best guy for being able to tell you actually how to get consumer credit off. I sold a consumer credit company many years ago, but I can tell you can even dispute directly with the credit bureaus and the credit issuers. Or the second thing is that you can come in and you can also get a credit repair company to help you. So hopefully that gives you some feedback. Nice, you have an entity for everything. Yeah. I have an entity for everything, just for asset protection. Every asset I own is in a separate entity. So if my car's in a wreck, instead of them suing me personally, well, then they can only come after my entity that owns the vehicle, for example. So not an accountant, not an attorney, not legal or accounting advice, but that's something that I found really helps quite a bit. And Haman Gambling says, do single member LLCs need to get a state tax ID number? They don't. You don't need to get an EIN number. But again, when it comes to fundability and being fundable, you should have an EIN number. It's what actually will give you credibility. Great info, Miss Finance. Appreciate that as well. And I'm a little bit scattered today, guys. If you notice, if anybody follows me, I'm scattered today. I got crazy situations happening, from like somebody trying to literally I have a house that somebody's trying to break into right now that I've been trying to navigate with the cops that everybody's calling me during the live stream. And then we had multiple tech issues today where we couldn't go live on any of our channels. So this is probably the most disheveled I've been, I think, doing a live stream. So I appreciate you giving me the very informative, because I've kind of been a little bit scatterbrained today. Okay, Shandi, when will non-reported trade accounts appear on Credit Suite Business Credit? But they're already there. If you go to the back and you go to the final step and go to advanced vendor or non-reported accounts, they're already there. Your advisor, if you're a client with us, can help you find that. Churchill says, can inaccurate information be disputed? It absolutely can. You can go to youtube.com/credit suite and just type in fix business credit and find my step-by-step process with each bureau of what to fix. Churchill says, if I sign up for your service, how long do I have access to support? You have lifetime access for financing. So loans, credit lines, whenever you need a loan, you come to our team, we help you. Business credit building, about 12 months. The reason 12 months is you don't need us. In 12 months, you don't need our team. Your business credit profiles are established. You got Visa card, you got MasterCard, you got auto financing. You don't need us anymore. You could just use the system to apply for whatever credit you need, but your business credit's built within that time. So 12 months with our advisors, or we'll work with you until you get the business credit established, and then lifetime access with our financing our sources as well. Shauna says, I'll call because I don't see it on step 7. Get with our advisors. They can actually make sure that you have access to that. Shonda, we'll make sure that you have access. Eugene says, is your program where you build your business credit? We do have a Genesis program, yes, and you can get with us on that. It's very similar to what you're saying. Our Genesis program, it's a secret program. We don't put it on our website. It's a subscription program, less than a couple $100. You can cancel anytime. You just don't have our advisors. The majority of people that succeed have our advisors to help them through it. Sometime if you're already way into this process, you've got starter vendors, you've got fundability. Some people will get started with Genesis. Yes, Eugene, that is still there. Just give us a call. We could talk to you more about that as well. And Churchill says, do you guys also offer alternative financing? We do. We have over 1,000 funding sources that we work with. Every legitimate kind of funding is one that we offer, one that's actually supported by, or that we actually vetted and it actually is accurate. Or it really does do what it says it's going to do. And Eugene says, hey, okay, for Genesis, you can pay. Yep, you can buy 6 months. That's correct. You can do that with Genesis. All you have to do, Eugene, is just tell that specific offer to our team, and they'll walk you through that. And Katri says, when a business is just starting to do business, credit issuers check personal credit. They will if you let them. This is a very good question. I want to pull this up for you guys on the stream. When business is just getting started, okay, and then the question is saying, do credit issuers check personal credit? You have to give somebody permission to pull your credit. It's called permissible purpose per the Fair Credit Reporting Act. So what that means is it means that credit issuers are basically, let me try to get my thoughts together. So issuers check personal credit only if you give them the ability. You have to supply your social and tell them it's okay. So when you start building business credit, starter vendors don't ask for your social anyways. There's no credit check. When you start to get to retailers, Staples, Office Depot, Amazon, Walmart, then what happens in those situations is if you provide your social and you don't tell them not to pull your personal credit check, then they make the decision based on personal credit. So you can build business credit with no personal credit check. The key is to not include your social where they don't make you. And if they do make you, you have to stipulate, I'm not giving you authority for a credit check. And that's how you actually can get around credit checks altogether. So hopefully that helps you. I think it's a great question, by the way. Eugene, okay. Eugene, you're asking very specific question about getting started with very specific program. Do me a favor, Eugene, give us a call. Okay, instead of doing it on the stream where I've got everybody trying to ask a lot of questions about like in general of topics of building business credit, with you, I know you're actually about getting started specifically with like 6 months Genesis. Just give us a call. Let me talk through it with you, 877-600-2487, and we can talk through it with you, or just send us an email, info@creditsuite.com, and we'll make sure you're taken care of. Churchill says, I'm on your site talking about alternative partner programs. Where can I offer your service? You can give us an email, info@creditsuite.com. If you want to offer business credit financing, give us a call or send us an email. We've got a free affiliate program where you can make a little money. We got a partner program where you can make a lot of money. So we'll talk to you about both of those options. And all you do is give us a call, send us an email. Affiliates on our website. Partner program you can get access to on our website as well, or just give us a call, and in a quick conversation we can give you a rundown of the differences there. And Stacy says, will Credit Suite work for a startup? Yep, Credit Suite business credit and our program works for brand new businesses to very well established businesses. So if you're brand new, it actually is a little bit easier because we can even walk you through setting up a fundable foundation from the inception of your company and doing it the right way, right from the beginning. And Bernita says, can applying too soon for business credit hurt company credit score? It can't. It's just a frustration. So many people apply for credit before they can get it, and that's what actually causes the issue. So again, the key here is that you don't want to apply for credit too soon. So again, you can apply too soon. It's just the problem is you get frustrated if you get applied and get denied. This is why our system breaks down the tiers of credit to apply for in what order so you can actually succeed. Hey, Aaron from Southern California, came across your channel last week. Blown away. You don't have, does business credit for a parent umbrella company apply to the smaller companies? It does. Business credit applies to every EIN. So if you have an umbrella company, that company has an EIN, and then you can have DBAs under it that don't have EINs, and then you just have like credit for the umbrella company. So the bottom line is, if you have an EIN, you can build business credit. So if you have one umbrella company and you open up multiple other entities under it and get EINs, and you could build business credit for each one of those that have an EIN as well. Once you get EIN, do you need to apply for a TIN? No, you don't. A TIN is needed when you don't have a social security number. So if you have a social security number and you're a citizen of the United States, you don't need a TIN number. A TIN number is needed if you're not a citizen of the United States. Then you need to get a TIN number. So you either have a social or a TIN, an EIN and TIN, that doesn't make a difference. You need a social or a TIN, and then one of those is needed to get your EIN. Lori says, when you switch companies or company names, do you need a new EIN? You don't need to. You can typically transfer it, but it depends on your Secretary of State. You go to your Secretary of State and update the records, and every Secretary of State's different with what they let you update. Some might let you update the name, some might not. So again, some things to keep in mind. Check with your Secretary of State. Not necessarily that you have to change it, but it depends on your Secretary of State. Lori, to answer that question, when applying for business credit, can you apply 30 days in between? You can apply for them all. You can apply for them all. You just got to wait for those accounts to report till you get to the next tier. So if you need 5 accounts to get a Staples credit card, you got to monitor credit to make sure 5 accounts are reporting before you apply for Staples. There's no requirement in between of when you can apply for credit. And Bernice says, when applying for credit, business bank accounts, credit lines, or loans, does location matter? It doesn't matter. It should be in the same state, because otherwise it doesn't make sense. Like if you're located in Missouri and Florida is, the state with the business in, it doesn't make sense. You should always be set up in the same business as the actual state. Are startups able to get working capital? Yes, they are. Getting working capital is based on cash flow, credit, or collateral. If you're a startup, you don't have cash flow, which means you either need to build business credit to get money, or you need to get financing based on some kind of asset you can serve up as collateral, or your good credit, a personal guarantor, or your credit. And you can do that through credit line hybrid. Those are the most popular ways to get financing. Again, give us a call. Our financing team can talk through that with you as well. James says, we're a new startup business. I heard you say Secretary of State address should match other documents. When we applied SOS, they wouldn't let us use our business address because it's a known registered address. How do we make them all match? Well, your Secretary of State, you might want to check with them. Or change your address to one that is acceptable with your Secretary of State. The number one reason I see people get denied for credit financing, number one, numero uno, is because Secretary of State doesn't match what's on the application. If that data is incongruent, your address on the app doesn't match Secretary of State, you're going to get denied all day, every day. You got to fix that issue. So if the registered agent address is wrong, maybe use a different registered agent, use a different address, get signed up with a virtual office like Regis Da Vinci and Alliance and update that address everywhere. Those are some solutions that can help you. Kanisha, so when getting started with Credit Suite, can we use the funding like the credit line hybrid loan to pay for the hybrid services? We can talk to you about that. Give us a call. We can talk to you about getting approved for credit line hybrid and then using that to be able to get started. Yes. To be a loan broker, going to be offered in the future? Yes. You can go to businessloanbrokerchallenge.com right now, businessloanbrokerchallenge.com. And there you can access our recordings of the live event we just did 2 weeks ago. That walks you through every single thing that you need to know to become a business loan broker. Okay, and what is the qualification for credit line hybrid? Okay, what's the credit line for credit line hybrid? Credit line hybrid, you need to have good personal credit. 680, 700 type FICO scores with 680, 700 type FICO scores is what you need to have. And you need to have low utilization, low inquiries, less than 6 inquiries in the last 6 months. Utilization below 40% is a basic idea of requirements. Okay, and truly great info, Churchill. I appreciate that. If you are in the finance industry, should I build an umbrella LLC that's more acceptable for funding and list the financial services? That would make sense for me, yeah, because I would do an umbrella as a consulting agency, and then because financial services is high risk, and then put that as a DBA under it. I'm not an accountant. I'm not an attorney, not accounting or legal advisor. I got FTC disclosure stuff, but that's how I would do it. I wouldn't have anything that's high risk like financial services as my umbrella. I would put that under an umbrella company and make my umbrella as close to consulting as I could. That's what I would personally do for that. Okay, and Lori says, what are solutions for business phone if cell phone is a no-no? Landline, voice over IP, Ring Central, Freedom Voice, all those kind of things could be potential solutions. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. Thanks for tuning in. Excuse me again for being disheveled today. Literally, like somebody is breaking into my house. I can show you all of these are all texts right now that are taking place from the police. The police are there wanting to talk to me. And it's like, they got to wait because I'm here with you. Guys got to have priorities. You're my priority. So here we are. But I am going to attend to the police thing right now and had some technical issues. We got started a little bit late. So thanks for tuning in today. If you have any other questions, give us a call at 877-600-2487. Email info@creditsuite.com if you have any other questions. And don't forget, if you're getting started this week, we will work with you with affordable payments. We'll make sure it makes sense and you get $10,000 worth of real legitimate bonuses. And to get started, all you have to do is go to creditsuite.com/webinar. That's creditsuite.com/webinar. And don't forget to call us for your free finance assessment. Fundability check, financing qualification, business credit reports for free. All happen on that finance assessment. Give us a call at 877-600-2487 or info@creditsuite.com. If you have any other questions, again, all you have to do is just give us a ring. Thanks for tuning in. I got to go deal with this whole police issue right now. So thank you very much for tuning in. I hope you have a great day, and I look forward to seeing you on our next training where we talk about more cool ways to get the money you need to start and grow your business.